What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a somewhat surprising video. So, as you just saw, it took me about 38 minutes to get to this point on the Bug. All we really have left to do to get this engine out is motor mounts, which will be nice and quick, transmission cross member, and I'm thinking I'll probably pull the driveline off and then pull it out, so I have to slide the trans out of the driveline. We'll see what I decide. And transmission cooler lines. So you've got motor mounts, transmission cross member, driveline, and cooler lines. That's about 10, 15, 20 minutes worth of work, depending on if it fights me or not. But here we are. Some of you may be asking yourselves, why are you pulling your engine and trans out like 19, 20-ish days? Actually, let's check right now. Why are you pulling it out 20 days and 11 hours before you need to be headed to LS Fest West? Well, guys, I have, as you can see, that's coolant. That is not. We have got some nasty ATF leaks, and some not necessarily nasty, not necessarily nasty, but some not very fun oil leaks on the engine. So we are pulling the engine and trans out, and then we are going to replace the oil pan gasket, the valve cover gaskets, the front and rear main timing covers and seals, and we are going to be replacing the pump seal, output shaft seal, and the trans pan gasket, and the dipstick O-rings on the trans too, and making it so we don't leak anymore, because we got leaks, and that's not safe when I'm in the burnout competition that I signed up for, and also it just freaking sucks. It's embarrassing. This car is awesome, and then you roll up with a car you built that's a fresh build, and it's marking its territory. So we're going to be ripping it out, doing all that, and while we're in here, might as well, you know, I'm going down the rabbit hole. While we are in here, we are going to be painting the engine, probably painting the valve covers, timing cover, valley cover you don't really see, so whatever. But for sure, we are painting the bay, and we might do a little bit of sheet metal work if we have time. So we're going to be trimming up some of the rough edges, cleaning it up, painting it satin black probably, and then painting the engine and just making it look clean, because I estimate that we are going to get to LS Fest on Friday, get signed in and everything, get ready, go into the burnout box, the sideshow box, and probably hurt the car within 10 seconds, because that's my luck. That'll probably be what happens if it even drives itself into the burnout box. So if that happens, the car's going to spend the rest of the weekend in the show and shine, and, you know, potentially thousands of people are going to be looking at it. So I'd like to at least have the bay look decent, because it's not going to be good for anything besides people looking at it. So yeah, that's what we're doing in today's video. I still have to drain the oil, I just remembered, and drain the ATF, which this pan doesn't have a bung on it, so that's going to be not fun. But yeah, I might pull the drive shaft out and tape a bag over the tail shaft housing. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I can get the engine and trans out and then drain the trans fluid after I have the trans out. Might be a little bit easier. We'll see what I decide to do. But yeah, so I paused the clock because my wife is bringing me a jack stand that I left at my brother's house where I was working. And once we get the jack stand stuff, we can continue on. I'll restart the clock, and we'll see how long it takes to get this engine and trans out. Alrighty, an hour and 44 minutes and 8 seconds exactly. Whew, my hat on. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we got the engine and trans out. Super exciting. She empty. So I got a lot of work to do in here. I'm gonna be trimming a bunch of stuff up, cleaning it all up, and getting it ready for paint. We're just gonna lift wires out of the way, paint, put them back. I'm not too worried. It doesn't have to look perfect. I just wanted to get it all one color, kind of hide all the ugliness, all that jazz. Got the engine and trans out. Yeah, there's oil all over this thing, so we will be tackling that very shortly. This is the first time I have pulled this engine and trans together. This is actually, I think maybe the second time I've ever pulled the engine out of the car, and I've dropped the trans 2 or 3 times up on the ground. Back when I didn't have a skin on the floor, so it was a little bit easier too. When the engine is in, there's still enough room between the firewall and the bell housing that you can actually get a wrench down from the top and pull those 4 bolts off, and then it's not tapped for that one, but pull those 3 bolts off, and you can hit the other ones on the bottom really quickly and easy. So that's cool. I can drop the trans pretty quickly, but an hour and 44 minutes isn't too bad. I'm really happy with that. I'm not terribly upset, but that was my first time pulling it together. The trans cooler lines fought me. There were a few things that took like 20 minutes that should have taken like 2 minutes. So I'm going to be revising a couple of things maybe while the engine is out to make it easier to pull next time. But as far as that goes, I mean, what, an hour and 44 minutes, and that was at a very chill pace. Just so you know, I wasn't rushing, I wasn't racing myself. That was just kind of going with the flow, grabbing tools. I didn't have everything right where I needed it, by myself on the ground with 1 jack stand, a jack, and a cherry picker. So I'm really happy with it. We have just a few days left, and we're going to make it to LS Fest West 2022 in Las Vegas. Hope to see some of you guys there, and hope to rip a big fat burnout. Alright guys, so I just went to find the right size socket, 15/16 to pull my main bolt out of my harmonic balancer so I can pull it off and do a front timing seal. And I stuck it on there, and it is literally less than hand tight. Just pulled it off. So didn't even need my Milwaukee 1/2 inch like I expected. That is absolutely crazy, and I'm really glad I didn't lose a pulley. That is insane. Alrighty guys, so I just pulled the trans pan off, as you can tell, and it's not horrible, but the ATF is definitely darker than I wanted. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, it's not like it's fried or anything, I'm not too worried about that, but it's definitely darker than I expected, or than I hoped for being fresh fluid. I put fresh fluid in this thing when I did the pan gasket last time. So it's not great, not bad. Some would argue that, you know, like a darker kind of worn in fluid is good. I don't know. There's what seems to be quite a bit of clutch material in the pan. So there's some chunks, I'm not sure what they're from. So yeah, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not the end of the world, it's not the worst. It definitely could be really bad. The trans functioned and shifted well. It was a smidge low on fluid for one drive, but I don't think that hurt it. I don't think that might honestly be why, the only reason why it's dark is because it just was not happy that it was, you know, half a quart low. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, I got the trans pan on and all RTV'd. I tightened it up to where it's just barely touching, and in about an hour after it sets up, before I go to bed, I'm gonna come and snug it the rest of the way down, torque it to spec, and hopefully we have no more leaks. So we will see. We got obviously the engine painted Ford blue just to bother the Ford and Chevy purists, along with I'm already bothering the Volkswagen purists. So we are doing good. I have been working all day non-stop. So we got a lot done today. We have 19 days till LS Fest, so we are definitely cutting it close. In the next video, which I will be filming probably tomorrow, we are going to be trimming up the engine bay just a little bit, making it clean, and then we're going to be painting it. So stay tuned for that, and the goal is to have the engine and trans back in the car tomorrow evening. So we will see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, all of that. Please leave a comment and let me know what you like, what you don't. But thank you guys so much for engaging and everything. Yeah, don't forget to stay hungry, stay humble, and stay motivated. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.